everyone, welcome to my channel and welcome to a week in my life vlog. Before we get started, my name is Emily and thank you so much for watching today's video. Happy release day. I feel like that's kind of a hot take. But that's the trouble with being a mood reader. Guys, this is good. I can see myself getting obsessed with this. I'm having such a good reading week. This week isn't really that exciting, honestly. Let's get into it. I wanted to film this video this week in particular because I have a fun event that I'm going to tonight. And on Saturday, it's Independent Bookstore Day. So I wanted to go book shopping on Saturday. And I'm also reading a book that I feel like I'm really going to like. So I wanted to film me reading that book over the next few days and maybe do a little book review on that book when I'm done with it. That book that I am currently reading is Daughter of No Worlds by Carissa Broadbent. And this was not on my radar at all for this month, but I am a mood reader at heart, so I randomly picked this one up the other day, and I'm only about 6 chapters in, but I'm really liking it so far. So this is the book I'm going to be reading this week, and I'm definitely going to be coming back with lots of updates while I read this. I did mention I'm headed to an event tonight, which I'm really excited about. Tonight is the midnight release party for Emily Henry's new book, Great Big Beautiful Life. I wasn't planning on going to this event, but one of my friends was going and she convinced me to randomly get a ticket, and the bookstore that we are going to luckily did have a few tickets left, so I will be able to join my friend for this event tonight. Normally when we go to events in the city, we go to Book Club Bar or Ripped Bodice in Brooklyn. Book Club Bar is like a bar bookstore combo and it's one of my favorite stores in the city, and then Ripped Bodice is a romance only bookstore in Brooklyn. But those two events were sold out, but we did find another bookstore in Brooklyn that was doing a midnight release party tonight. So that is where we're headed tonight, and I'm really looking forward to it. I always love reading a highly anticipated release and going to bookish events like this because I just like being surrounded by other people who are also so excited about the release of a book. So I am looking forward to that tonight. I think that's all of the updates I have for now. So I'm going to finish getting ready and head to Brooklyn. The event starts in about 2 hours, so gotta get moving. And then I'll come back with a reading update with Daughter of No Worlds. This is on Kindle Unlimited, so I'll probably bring my Kindle on the subway with me so I can read that while I'm heading to the bookstore. And other than that, I will check in later. Like I said, can't wait for tonight's event. Happy Tuesday. I am exhausted right now. I finished work about an hour ago and I also just filmed a little book haul video. I have the books from the book haul right behind me. So I've had a long day. I got home around 1 a.m. from the midnight release and I had to get up at like 6:30, so I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. So I'm very tired right now. I think before I share how the midnight release was, I am going to go and make a quick coffee and then I'll come back and talk about the midnight release from last night. That's good. Okay, anyway, so the midnight release last night was kind of a last minute thing for me. One of my friends was already going with another one of her friends and they invited me. There was still a few tickets left, so last minute I decided to go with them and I'm so glad I did. I've been to a few midnight releases before and I feel like this one was definitely the best one, besides the time I went to Book Club Bar and Sarah J Maas showed up for the House of Flame and Shadow midnight release. That was obviously the best midnight release I had went to. But I've also been to a few other midnight releases and I felt like they were really crowded and a little overstimulating. And this one was super chill and relaxing and we played trivia. There was like Emily Henry MASH, where that's the game where you like see who you're gonna marry and who your best friend is and like where you'll live. So the bookstore made like an Emily Henry version of that game, and there was also a Mad Libs, and it was an excerpt from the book, but it was like Mad Libs. So that was really cute, and like I said, it was kind of like very relaxing. It wasn't overstimulating or anything, which was good because I've been to a few others that were like kind of crazy. Anyway, so I have Great Big Beautiful Life here. I also bought another book last night that I talked about in the book haul video that I just filmed. Here she is. Happy release day to Emily Henry and Great Big Beautiful Life. I think after I finish this coffee, I'm going to go on a walk and start the audiobook for this because it's actually so nice out today. It's almost actually I think it's over 70 degrees. So now that I'm done with work, I filmed that other video, and before I eat dinner, I think I'm going to go on a little audiobook walk and start Great Big Beautiful Life. So I'll have some thoughts on this book soon. And I also bought this book last night, which was recommended by Emily Henry. And this is called A Love Song for Ricky Wilde. And the cashier described this as adult Twilight. And I said, say less. I have heard of 7 Days in June by the same author. That one, I know like people really like that one, but the cashier said that this one has a much different vibe than 7 Days in June. So basically the main character in this one is moving to New York to open a flower shop. And it says, soon the dream turns into a modern fairy tale when she encounters a handsome, mysterious stranger who knocks her world off balance in the most magical ways. So I feel like this one is skyrocketing to the top of my TBR, and I feel like I have to read it soon. I kind of want to stop what I'm reading and start this one, but I'm not going to do that. I really want to keep reading Daughter of No Worlds, so I think right now I'm going to read Daughter of No Worlds. I'll keep reading the hard copy of that. I'll listen to the audiobook for Great Big Beautiful Life, and then this will be my next read. But that's the trouble with being a mood reader. I feel like every time somebody convinces me to read a book, it just goes to the top of my TBR, and then my TBR just keeps getting longer and longer. I'm trying to think if I'm forgetting anything else. I'm so tired. Usually I stay up like pretty late. Like I'm not somebody who goes to bed super early. Yeah, having to get up that early after a late night was tough. All right, I guess that's all for now. I'm going to go on my walk, like I said, and I'll come back when I have some Great Big Beautiful Life thoughts. And I also will come back with some Daughter of No Worlds thoughts. Okay, hello again. It is now Wednesday night. It's actually already pretty late. It's already almost 9 o'clock, but I did want to come on and give a little update about my day. I think the last time we talked, I was about to go on a walk and listen to Great Big Beautiful Life. Did start that on my walk yesterday, and I am really enjoying the audiobook, so if you are somebody who enjoys listening to audiobooks, I would give this one a try. The narrator is Julia Whalen, who's a pretty popular audiobook narrator, and she's doing a really good job with this story, and I feel like it's bringing it to life. I forget what page I'm on or what chapter. Let me see. It's also on Spotify if you have Spotify Premium, which is pretty helpful. Okay, so I just got to chapter 12 in the audiobook, and so far we have our two main characters who are competing to write the biography of this very well-known like socialite who comes from a super prominent family, and they're competing for the rights to write this biography. The socialite that they're writing the book about's name is Margaret, and she kind of disappeared from the public eye for a while, and we don't really know what went on with her like in the years where she hasn't been seen in public. So like that's probably what the biography is going to end up talking about. I am interested in her story, and I really like the female main character. Actually, her name is Alice, and she's just really cute and bubbly and positive so far, and I really like that. I feel like sometimes characters aren't written that way, and I just enjoy her personality. And then our male main character, his name is Hayden, and he's very serious about his work, so having to like compete, quote unquote, with I was about to say Daphne from Funny Story. Having to compete with Alice probably wasn't like on his radar. So far I like it, and like I said, I'm really enjoying the audiobook. I think it's doing a good job of bringing the story to life, and just because it's so nice out, I'm glad I have a really anticipated audiobook to listen to while I'm like walking and stuff. So anyway, I had the urge to make cookies, but I didn't feel like making them from scratch, so I got these like Sweet Lauren cookies. So I figured I would keep listening to the audiobook for a little while I make these cookies. I mean, I'm not really making cookies, I'm putting them on a tray, but so that's my update for Great Big Beautiful Life. I need scissors. Sometimes when I'm reading a book on audio, I don't want to switch to like the hard copy, and then other times I do like to switch back and forth between reading the physical copy and like reading or listening on audio. But I don't know why, but for some reason with Great Big Beautiful Life, I think I want to stick with audio. The other book I'm reading right now is Daughter of No Worlds, and I can see myself getting obsessed with this. Not gonna lie. The main character, Max, or the male main character, or I think he's going to be the male main character. I honestly don't know. I'm not that far in. He is kind of like the opposite of some main characters that I've read about in other books. When we meet him, he is like in his garden, like picking roses and stuff. And I just feel like that is such a contrast to some of like the other fantasy male main characters that we read about. Yeah, I have high hopes for Daughter of No Worlds. I'm gonna put the cookies in now. I think I'm going to keep reading Daughter of No Worlds once the cookies are ready, and I'm gonna get into some comfy clothes and stuff. Oh, what I was trying to say before when I was talking about how I don't like to switch between audio and hard copies for some books, that's why I'm not going to keep reading Great Big Beautiful Life. Like, I want to listen to that one. I'm not gonna read it tonight like in the hard copy. I'm going to read Daughter of No Worlds. Anyway, so that's my update. Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. I'm so excited that it's finally Friday. This week felt very long for some reason, even though I wasn't in the office or anything. I was working from home this whole week. And I don't know, it just felt very long for some reason. I don't think I gave an update yesterday on my day or on the books I was reading. I think the day just like totally got away from me, and then it was nighttime. But I have been reading over the past few days. This week isn't really that exciting, honestly. I've just been working, and I had the event on Monday. I've just been reading. So this is just like kind of like a normal week. I haven't done that much, but that's okay. It's a realistic week in my life. So Great Big Beautiful Life. Let's see what page I'm on. I'm on chapter 18, which is page 193, and I've still been listening to the audiobook for this one. Last night I went on a pretty long walk, so I was listening to the audiobook for a while, and then when I got back, I just finished out one of the chapters by listening to the audiobook and reading, which is kind of nice. I don't usually do that because I feel like I read quicker than the audiobook sometimes, but I just upped the speed on the audiobook and it was fine. So that's Great Big Beautiful Life. I am liking it. There is definitely a bit of a, I wouldn't call it a mystery. I think I heard this described as a thriller, and I wouldn't describe it as a thriller at all either. But there is a bit of unknown with this story. Margaret, who's our like retired socialite, we don't really know what's going on with her still. We definitely know that she's keeping some secrets. Something happened in her family. We've learned some of the secrets. There's definitely some things that are still outstanding. So we'll have to see what happens with that. It's not a mystery, but there's things that are unknown. I don't really know how to describe it. It's keeping me engaged, essentially, because I want to know what happened with the Ives family, which is Margaret's last name, but it's not a mystery. And then I think I said this in my other clip, I really like the female main character. She's just really bubbly and positive, and not in like an in-your-face way, I feel like. I just kind of like how she's written. And Emily Henry, the way that she writes her female characters and like the way that they joke around and the banter that they have with the other characters around them is just unmatched. I genuinely laugh out loud when I'm reading an Emily Henry book because I feel like some of the things that her characters say are genuinely so funny. But anyway, that's Great Big Beautiful Life so far. They also have this bit going where both of the main characters are pretty tall. So the female main character, Alice, was saying something about how she thinks that there's a scientific reason why tall men date short women. And I think it's really funny because my fiance is actually 6'4" and I'm 5'3", so he is over a foot taller than I am. I like those parts because it kind of just reminds me of me and my fiance. But Alice is pretty tall, so she's saying like, have you ever dated like really short women? Like, and is there a reason for it? So I don't know, that's just kind of cute. So that's Great Big Beautiful Life. And then Daughter of No Worlds. Let me tell you, I am loving this one. I have very high hopes for this trilogy. I posted a book haul video the other day because I randomly got the urge to go book shopping like 2 weeks ago, and I wanted to order online, so I went to Thrift Books. So I did a big Thrift Books book haul. I've just really been craving like reading a long fantasy series that I can just get fully invested in. I had started this one before the order came, and I had ordered a few other ones in that order. But I started this one on my Kindle, and I had also gotten the hard copy of it. Guys, This is good. The main character has had such like a hard life, I feel like, but she still looks around the world with like such wonder, and she has such high hopes for what she'll be able to do for the world and like for her friends. And I just really like her attitude, and I like being in her head because it's written in first person. And then our male main character, I really don't know how to describe him. His name is Max Antarius, or Max for short. And he is not like the typical grumpy warrior type of main character. He's really soft. At the beginning, it says something like that bleeding heart will get you killed one day. He's really tough, but also really soft. I mentioned that he was like gardening. I just feel like Max reminds me of Dorian from Throne of Glass, who is like not your typical fantasy male main character who's just like gruff and grumpy and, you know, tough and that kind of stuff. So I have very high hopes for this one, and I'm really excited to keep reading it. But last night when I was reading, I literally started falling asleep while I was holding my Kindle. I have to get a little bit farther in this today. I'm on chapter 21 right now, which is page 159. So I can't wait for the workday to end so I can keep reading this. Is there anything else I want to say? I guess that's it. I feel like this vlog is kind of boring. I hope you guys don't think it's boring. I thought I would have more of an exciting week. I guess that's it. I don't really have any other updates. All right, well, I'm gonna make some breakfast. I have to get on my computer in about 40 minutes, so make some breakfast, do a bit of reading while I'm eating breakfast. I'll see you guys later. Happy Sunday. I just got to my car to go and run some errands and my car won't start. I think it's because the key fob is dead, but like you're supposed to be able to push it against the start button and it should start even though the key fob is dead, and I'm having no luck. I made it to Trader Joe's. The key fob is definitely just dead in my car, which is fine. I can just take it to get a new key tomorrow. That was not on my agenda for this week. I just have some errands to do, like grocery shopping and everything. I am about 70% into both Daughter of No Worlds and probably like 75 into Great Big Beautiful Life, so I'm almost done with both of them, and I really would like to finish them today. It's still pretty early. I think after I do these errands, I'm just going to like relax for the rest of the night and hopefully finish those books. Was going to end this vlog today, but I think I will extend it one more day so I can give my final thoughts on those two books. I have my headphones. I don't know if you guys do this, but I like put headphones in when I'm grocery shopping and listen to an audiobook usually. I'm probably going to do that while I'm in Trader Joe's, but this parking lot is insane. I can't believe I found a spot. It's like anarchy here. Going into Trader Joe's now. Come back with my final thoughts on the two books soon. I'm back home now, and first of all, it is so windy out today. It's kind of crazy. I just got to chapter 29. I was listening to the audiobook while I was out and while I was driving and doing my errands and stuff, and I just got to a part in Margaret's story that I'm so invested in, and I need to know what happens next. So I'm finally at the point in this story where I'm like totally hooked. I did mention that Margaret's story was keeping me engaged. I wanted to know what was happening in like the years leading up to where we are now in the present when Margaret is telling this story. But something about the second half of this book, something about Emily Henry's writing is just truly magical. I don't know how she does it. She just really can craft these beautiful, intricate stories, and I don't know, it's just so good. I kind of want to keep reading this one right now and switch to like reading the hard copy now that I'm home and finish this one up before I keep reading Daughter of No Worlds. But Daughter of No Worlds I'm almost done with as well. I probably have 150 pages left in Daughter of No Worlds, and I think I have like 80 pages left in Great Big Beautiful Life. And I really wanted to finish both of these books today, and I don't know if that's going to happen. So I think I have to choose which one I want to keep reading. And I can't decide because I really love both of them. I'm having such a good reading week. I think I have to keep reading Great Big Beautiful Life. Okay, that's what we're gonna do. I'm going to keep reading Great Big Beautiful Life right now, and then I'll probably eat dinner, and then tonight when I'm like winding down and everything, I'll keep reading Daughter of No Worlds. So I might be able to finish both these books today. It is pretty early, it's only like 5 o'clock, so anyway, those are my updates for now. Oh, I only talked about Margaret in Great Big Beautiful Life. I didn't talk about Alice and Hayden. I don't really have much more to say about Alice and Hayden. I feel like their relationship is very like soft and romantic and open, and it's nice to read about. So I'll have more thoughts about that when I'm done. But honestly, at this point, I'm more interested in Margaret's story, I think. I just finished Great Big Beautiful Life and I needed a moment to recover before I could talk about it because the last line really got to me. Anyway, overall, I think this is a 4.5 stars for me. I really enjoyed it. I think this one is kind of up there with Funny Story with me. My favorite Emily Henry is actually Book Lovers, which is the first book that I read by her, and I loved Book Lovers, and I feel like that's kind of a hot take. I feel like not a lot of people think Book Lovers is their favorite, but Book Lovers was my favorite. And then right after that is Funny Story, and I think this one is tied with Funny Story. The big reveal at the end I feel like is surprising, a little predictable, but still surprising, like kept me engaged. I wasn't like, I knew like kind of what was happening and like what the ending was going to be like, but I didn't know how we were going to get there, if that makes sense. But overall, I'm really happy with the way that this story turned out. There's definitely really emotional moments. There's funny banter. It's the classic Emily Henry. She gets everything in there. So 4.5 stars for this one. So it's still kind of early. It's only like 7 o'clock now. So I have a lot of time left this evening to keep reading Daughter of No World. So I might actually be able to finish that one tonight too. I probably won't talk about it tonight, but I usually get a lot of reading done on Sundays because Sundays are like my lounge about day. So I might be able to finish that one too, but I still have about 150 pages left in Daughter of No Worlds. I'm gonna get ready for bed now, or like just get into like comfy clothes and keep reading Daughter of No Worlds. All right, let's wrap this vlog up. Last night we left off with me saying I was going to get ready for bed. It was Sunday night and I was hoping to finish Daughter of No Worlds, but unfortunately I was not able to finish that book. I did want to make this like a realistic week in my life as somebody who works like 9 to 5 and also prioritizes like my free time and reading and exercise and things like that to show how much I can realistically read in a week. I didn't get to finish, like I said. I'm on page 423, so I'm so close to finishing. And like I said, I know I said this last night that I think I was going to be able to finish, or I hope I was going to be able to finish, but I think I'll actually be able to finish this one tonight. I am going to end this vlog in this clip though, so I won't be sharing my final thoughts on Daughter of No Worlds. Overall though, I love this book. I have cried, I've laughed, I feel like it is just everything you want in a fantasy book, and I really feel like Carissa Broadbent is creating this very rich and intricate world that will continue in the second and third book in this series. So I maybe am going to film a wrap up in a few days because it's almost the end of April. So hopefully I'll film a wrap up and share my like last thoughts on this book, but I don't anticipate my thoughts changing, and I feel like the end of this book might just like make this even better. I feel like this is a series that's going to really stick with me and feels like it's going to be a really great story. So that is the Daughter of No Worlds update. As I mentioned, I gave Great Big Beautiful Life 4.5 stars, and overall I did really enjoy that one as well. The pacing was a bit off, like I mentioned, like with Margaret's story. I enjoyed the end a lot more than the beginning, and I was really invested in Margaret's life with Cosmo and, you know, that part of the story. I was really invested in Margaret's like adult life rather than her past and her ancestors and like her childhood. So the second half of Margaret's story was much better than the first to me, so the pacing just went a little quicker in the second half of the book. While I did enjoy Alice and Hayden's relationship, they weren't my favorite Emily Henry couple, but I did still enjoy the book. Like I said, I gave it 4.5 stars. It's kind of up there with Funny Story for me. Overall, I had such a successful reading week and I'm so happy about that. And I did start editing this video already, and I realized that I didn't get any footage when I went to a few bookstores on Saturday when it was Independent Bookstore Day. So unfortunately, I didn't get to vlog that day of this week. I completely didn't pick up my camera at all on Saturday. But I did buy one book on Independent Bookstore Day on Saturday, and that is City of Brass. And I'm really excited for this one. Again, this is the first book in a fantasy trilogy. And I think I'm back in my fantasy era because this sounds really good. But I'm probably not going to get to it for a bit because I want to do the Daughter of No World series first, or I think it's called the War of Lost Hearts trilogy. And then I have a few other books that I want to read first. But I did get this at my favorite independent bookstore on Saturday. I think that's where we'll leave it for today. I just want to say thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please do all those classic YouTube things like comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, and bye for now.